reason to start something is because you're good at it. I make it loud and clear because you guys have ideas throughout the year and you're going to wonder why I may not be having any interest in it or not want to move in that direction. You have to have a keen ear for the marketplace. So there's several ways to find out what the marketplace is screaming for. One of them isn't because you look good in red that you should actually go work at the place where they all wear red coats. That is not even my idea. That doesn't make sense. One man says, every time I went fishing with my daddy since I was a young man, we always caught the biggest and the best. So I'll become a fisher. That is good for a career. When you want to start a career, go for what you do best and what you look good in. When it comes to being a business owner, you can never let that demand what you do. The marketplace must demand what you do. I spent countless hours searching the internet to find out what people were screaming for. A lot of my time went into finding out what is it that will make someone miss 2 or 3 meals and eventually get to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. What kind of thing drives a person to do that without anybody coaching them? They just do it because they're just that hungry. When I found that kind of thing, I knew what I had to sell. I had to see what causes a man to go to the store and get a loaf of bread after being married 20 years and never return. What causes a woman to walk away from her family for some young, good-looking stud muffins and give up 10, 15, or 20, or 30 years of marriage for a month fling and then back with... What is it that causes us all to tick? And the more you dig into that, the sooner you will find your fortunes. I mean, one guy came up with a good reason why he couldn't show up for work. What caused him to lie? What was that thing? Another man or woman decided to take a bullet for someone that they love. What is this? I'm sorry, I don't know which one's yours, John.
Right here.
What is it? That is where your fortunes will lie. You cannot decide what to sell because of your gifts and talents. That is, although you can use those to create what you're going to provide, you can do that, but you don't want to determine what that is based on those things. Now, I know it could be the opposite of what we've been taught, yeah? We've been taught, well, if you can sing, you better get out to become a singer. There is many a young man who can play basketball very well, and their parents put every ounce of their time, energy, and money into that child becoming a professional athlete. They decided to do what they were good at. And that is great for a career, as I said. When it comes to your fortunes, let the marketplace tell you. Where do you find what the marketplace wants? I'm not one that likes TV. No. Now, do I enjoy shows or movies? I'm like the next guy. But one thing that helped me with my income is when I decided to wait until I could secure my freedom before I dove in, that was one of the best things that ever happened to me. CNN will often tell you, the local CBS, local NBC on the news station will often tell you what the marketplace is screaming for. What do you mean? Area man spent 2 or 3 straight days preparing for Fat Tuesday to make these things called, you want to know? That's only a Pennsylvania thing. Fosnuts? Remember Fosnuts? Okay, all right, we'll leave the joke again. Okay, wow. Every year, Fat Tuesday, every Fat Tuesday there in Pennsylvania, I guess. I thought it was everywhere. I should get out of there.
We need to get in.
They make,
part of Pennsylvania.
yeah, you're from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, never heard of it.
They bake these special donuts called Fosnuts. They're deeply fried, whatever, and people are literally, it's voting day. I mean, you can literally get off work and go pick up Fosnuts. No one's going to get mad at you or anything. Okay, enough of that. Let's try another one. That didn't work. Local school district fires superintendent, and the entire district has been turned over to the mayor. They are in search of a better way and a better idea. We found out the superintendent used to make he's made 6 figures a year, whatever it was. give someone some ideas about where their fortune can come from. Now, just by saying that, anybody that sparked anything in someone just when I just said that piece of news? If I did, tell me, someone share it with me. How could you make money from that?
You said about somebody it was
Local school district
got rid of some people.
got rid of the superintendent
Right.
because of failing district. They're looking for a new and better way. So watch this now. They're meeting with several consultants throughout the month to find one. They're looking at people who have this outcome-based education. They're looking at some who have a Eastern view, or Eastern way of teaching their schools. We're also meeting with some of the leading homeschool regulation center people. We're talking to some people from Sylvan's Learning Center. Is there a money-making opportunity in that?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, first of all, when the school district turns over its leadership to a mayor, that already is a sign. Somebody better help us, right? Local parents group, raising money to find a way to deter our children away from this drunkenness that they have at the age of 18. In this region alone, we've already lost 62 kids to alcohol-related deaths in an automobile. They received a contribution from an athlete who went professional. He's donated $100,000 to this concept. We have a wealthy man who owns a local television station who lost a child 25 years ago to this. He's donated $1 million. They expect to have a resolution and something that can offset this through ad campaigns and much more. They're going to give it everything they have to have a resolution within 2 years. By the way, this is the kind of stuff that comes on the news. I'm not a news guy. But if I was looking for ideas of where I can find my fortune, I found that through Google, through Yahoo, Ask, kind of like I said, I hate the news, but if I didn't know where else to go, I would listen to what's going on, what are the current events around me, I would observe that. And I would come up with something like this. Truthfully, the wealthiest place to be right now with the least amount of effort is going to be information. That's what I find out. You can sell products too, but I found out that people are willing to pay a lot more for their answer than they are for a car, than they are for their own home. Yes, sir.
But we're in the time of solutions. That's the problem.
We're in a time of information. We're in a date and time of information. Information age.
For solutions.
Yeah, for solutions, but here's the cool thing about it. There's only a handful of people that are willing to go and get every answer they seek. Most would rather pay for it. Because of that, I make a lot of money.
Yeah, because it's easier that way. It's more hard.
Whatever the reason is, I want you all to hear what I'm really saying to you. Think about this. What are people willing to pay to learn? Here's what I found out. I went and found out whatever people were willing to pay for it, I went and learned it. I didn't know anything. Oh, but you better believe, brother man will learn it. Because I like the idea of someone writing a 7-figure check to me to resolve their problems that year. I'm down with that, baby. Right? I like receiving them in the mail. I like them putting their on their credit card. I don't care how they're going to do it. I'm okay with it. I will give you your answers. No doubt about it. So, here's the principle. Nothing can be created or destroyed. It just changes form. Right now, the form may not be in your mind yet, but you can find it. How to. How to is one of the major reasons for transactions today, this day and age. Every second, people are searching for something on the web and finding it. Millions of people are making financial decisions every second on the internet. Only a handful are doing it in a local geographic place. They're going to a store. going to a shop. So here's what I found out. It just so happens, I like the area of direct selling and network marketing, because I spent the last 4 years spending hours and hours and hours doing everything I can to master any and every possible thing it would take for them to be successful. Because I don't know if I've ever saw a crazier bunch. Excuse the expression. I literally got my first bout with this young lady. I was in Orlando, Daytona, Florida. Daytona, Florida, and I literally, excuse me, officer, would you step away from the chair for a second? Thank you. Good, we're gonna check your car for a second. All right, watch this now. I didn't even see this in church. People were on their seats. Wow, yeah, baby! They're excited. The company owner announced that they're going to allow for a new car bonus. Or they're going to allow for everybody who's done this by this much time, they're going to get a new something or other. And I saw people screaming from the bound of the chair and going crazy. I said, oh my gosh, I got to find something for these folks. Help me, Lord. I got to find something for them. I literally saw them. They said, listen now, lunch was supposed to be 12. And they said, we're sorry, but we have 2 more announcements. This is crazy. I saw them go to 2 o'clock in Daytona, Florida, and folks were still waiting there, hungry. What would make them wait? They become so energized about doing better. They all wanted to be one of those people who walked across the stage. And I said, oh. Then I went to a conference in Dallas, Texas called More Heart Than Talent. And I saw about 1,800 people. And I saw them sit on the edge of their seat while Jim Rohn delivers his message. And all of them were like this. Some are crying. Others are just already going out in the hallway to go buy everything he has because they wanted the answers. Oh, man, crazy. I saw Erica Combs stand up and talk about women in power. And what a woman who has power can do supersedes that of even a man in power and what he can do if she leverages it correctly. And I saw every woman in the place. It was quiet as a drum. It was quiet as, what's quiet?
You could hear a pin drop.
That's a drum. Yeah, it's so quiet to hear a pin drop. Thank you, Joy. I'm not the guy for analogies. I can't make it. Don't quit my day job for analogies. So I saw that and I said, wow. Artemis Limpers gets up and talks about being, what'd you say, nakedly honest? What'd she call it?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, something clothed and nakedly honest. Whatever it was like a nice statement. But she talked about this whole idea of just being who you are. Don't be what he wants to make you. Don't be what they demanded that you be, but literally be nakedly honest with yourself. Be that and be straightforward with it, and that's what you market. I watched her talk about that, and I thought, I'm a man, I need to do that. That's all I can think of. And I saw Susan Sly. She's funny. Susan Sly gets up there and talks about stepping into your power. I said, this is some crazy stuff. Right? This good stuff, but I watched it. See, I'm not one to just see what everybody else sees. I refuse to do that. I'd hear them say it and say, that's powerful, and I look at the audience, and then I say, that's powerful. What determined who I am, as far as what I do today, is the marketplace that I saw their response to information. To information. Some of them are buying the same thing 3rd time around. That's how powerful information is. Yes, I'd like to speak with Joy, please. Yes, ma'am.
Do you think the internet will ever get so, I mean, it's crowded now, but there's tons of how-tos, there's so much information there. If it keeps continuing at the pace that all this information is being provided, is it ever going to get saturated?
Well, mathematically, it's impossible. Because it is open space. It isn't a confined space, the internet.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, we live in a world where years ago, curriculums were created for people to learn something.
Yes.
And even though every bit of it's outdated, people were still paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a degree that's posted by those people.
Right.
It's not old at all. People say, "Oh, you're gonna go to Ole Miss, aren't you? You're gonna go to Penn State, aren't you?" It's from generation to generation. Everybody's going to the same building, even though it's completely saturated. So how many colleges are there, by the way? Anybody know? Think about that for a second. Are there hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands? how many places can you be educated at?
Probably hundreds of thousands.
That being right, unfortunately, the internet's even more spacious than that environment. And you know what? While we sit here, there are millions of people who are in class today. And happy for it. Some who lost their job and were told to go back to there. Others who were just starting off for the first time they're there. Others who failed at the first thing and did like me, I wasn't really smart. I said, I'm going back to get a different degree. I didn't know better. I'm going to do it. It didn't work the first time. I'm going back for something else. Like,
The other thing about it is, there's only a small percentage that's actually really on the internet right now. There's more than 3/4 of the world that's never even been on it yet.
Right.
and if they were, there's still more than enough for. Watch us now. It isn't the fact that something's available that makes it move or sell. If that was the case, we wouldn't have thousands of businesses go out every day, close down.
Right.
Who's going to create the pathway? And watch this now. Who's going to create the concept, product, or whatever it is that you offer that the marketplace is already screaming for? Those are the ones that are going to make the difference. Many of the how-tos out there have never made a sale. Many of the websites out there are there because they look good, but they don't produce money. So the more of those that are out there, the better off you are going to be. Everybody's selling something. The guy that's never done anything with it in his life is selling it. The guy that has never ever signed some open network marketing is selling tools and how to do it. Go figure that one out. You with me?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
And
I
how
mean
do
a lot
you
of
know-
it. Huh?
And how do you know if they're an expert or not?
Exactly.
Well, guess what? There's something like that goes off. You can tell who's done it, and you can tell who's selling something. You can just tell. You know that instinct you ladies have when a guy's just trying to get his silver toe? I mean, you got the one guy you say, this one's a real deal. There's something different about this guy, right? You know you can tell that. You get the same thing business-wise.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Make sure the cuffs are in the car. The reality is, the internet's still in its infancy stages. You heard Dan just say. Infancy stages. Today, you can be who you are and no one knows you. And literally, 2 months from now, you're going to find out either, I think I'm going to do it this afternoon. I think we'll close out with Dwayne showing you something that is mind-boggling. I'm going to introduce it to you, and he's going to walk you through how it's done. It's a way that you can literally, all of a sudden, become someone. It's such in its infancy stages, everybody that I was learning under 3 years ago, majority of them have had a huge economic hit and seek my advice before they can sustain it. The same exact people. Infancy stages to the point that I trust that some of you will be available for me to seek advice because maybe I will have not made enough adjustments and I would look out for some of you. That's how cool it is. It's early in the game. It's still 4 full quarters. But that was a great comment because we've been taught that there's a pie and there's only so many pieces to go around. Once the pie's full, there's nothing left. That was an economic myth. There's more than enough to go around. And yes, I can sell water and you can sell water. Both of us can have multi-billion-dollar companies. Everybody in the room can have a water company. And all of us sell millions of dollars worth of water. That's the beauty, in spite of the myth. The myth is you can't do that. I got one friend who says, man, I hate that somebody else is starting another company. I mean, what does that have to do with it? Right?
Exactly.
Last I checked, there are, in most cities, there are churches at almost every corner. There are salons and barbershops at every corner, and nobody's hurting.
Exactly.
Huh?
There's 3 or 4 churches in the same block.
Hey, how about this? How about the guy just planted a church 2 years ago, and already they're growing to a couple thousand people? It never was about resources, not being enough resources, although we're taught that consistently. The internet's a different world. If you will at least attempt to grasp it and recognize that the sky's the limit, no matter who's doing what around you, you can do well. I feel bad for anyone who decides not to bring something to market because someone else is already there. I sympathize with you. I was going to do it, but Lisa already thought of it. Shoot. That mentality is going to hurt you.
And a lot of times.
If you got one, here's what I'm going to tell you, that each one of us has a signature. You have a signature. I may create a program that teaches you how to prospect, but if you really listen to it, it's going to have a different signature than Ken's. There are some people that require the signature that I have and what I provide. There are others that require the signature that Ken has. The last thing I should think is that because I have one and four other people have one, there's none left. There are more ways to skin a cat. So, officer, if you're ready to behave, I'll let you have your seat back and I'll get up.
I'm okay, you can have my finger. Keep talking.
It's not gonna help you.
So watch this. I'm in a room with about 1,800 people. January of 2007. January 6th, 5th or 6th, 2007. Before I went to this event, I determined that I knew for a fact this was going to be my year. I expect to make $2,500 on the internet. I was sold. I knew it. But how do it? I didn't know how, but I knew I was not going to eat or sleep without finding the answer. I knew that. I just told you, I listened to these people speak at this convention, and the one thing that stuck out with me the most, the women that spoke had the most moving message, and it caused the greatest amount of excitement and energy. I said, oh, I think I got something. So if you will, I'm going to give people some positions in the room. And first of all, Yvette, I'd like for you to go over there by Mr. Turner, over there, and stand there as if you, is there room to stand over there beside where he's at?
Yes.
Yeah, there is. I want you to pretend to be at a table.
You what?
Yeah, pretend like you have your own table in front of you.
Okay.
You're selling your books. No, stand facing this way, against the wall right there. I'm coming. Don't worry, I'll be there.
Okay.
Pretend like you're talking to people. Officer Friendly, I'd like for you to also be. By the way, this woman already spoke. She spoke about women in power. Young lady, you. Oh yeah, you spoke too. Everybody heard of Ellie Drake?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Ellie Drake. You're Ellie Drake. You're you, officer. But you just spoke. And people loved what you had to offer. What you said. And by the way, Ellie Drake's story was, I come from Iran. I was a physician over there. And I'd come here and start everything over again. I came from the bottom, and now I'm back on the top. Right? Ellie Drake, MD, right? Her husband Charlie, the chiropractor. So, my dear, you're one of those people. You didn't come from Iran, you came from the force. Anyway, sit right there. And young Miss Turner, Tina, if I may. Missed that, whatever you had, didn't it? Well, y'all got it slow, baby, y'all slow. Okay, Tina. Tina, I'm going to be approaching you. You're in an elevator. Not yet. When I'm ready, because I know you just had surgery recently, I'm going to let you stand over here in the elevator. You guys watch what happened. And watch here now. Because, yes, I'm going to give you projects, but I want you to, each of you to birth your own throughout the year. You can't birth your own unless I give you some of the pathway. So I sat in this room and I say, wow, this is amazing. I'm a nobody. I make a good bit of money in network marketing, and I've determined I'm going to do well on the internet. I already have a plan in place, but I make an adjustment. I change my plan for the way I'm going to make the first amount of money. So watch this, if you will. Pardon me, officer.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Just admiring your book here, Woman in Power.
Hey.
And I had to say this. You don't know me. I'm an internet marketer. That's what I saw it before it happened, so I'm an internet marketer. And I actually have conference calls and so forth, and I have something coming up in the future. If you don't mind, if you don't find it presumptuous, I'd like to buy several of your books so I can make them available for some of my audience.
Wow, that sounds great.
Now, watch what she did. I'm going to show you what she did. I want you to lower your voice and tell me, well, come here a second. And then when you say that, you're going to offer them to me at $5 a piece. Yeah, okay.
Have a great deal going, the special going on today. You can get 5 of those books for $5.
Right. She wanted me to know that because I said I was an internet marketer. I know she just finished the book and she wants to sell them. So she lowered her $17.95 or $19.95 for her book and says, listen, if you're serious, I'll sell them to you at $5 a piece. So I said, great. I said, I don't know, how many cases did you bring? She said, I brought X amount. I said, well, can you give me 4 cases or so, 3 or 4 cases. She goes, yeah.
Yes.
So I bought those cases from her. Now, by the way, do I have a new friend, yes or no?
Yes.
I didn't buy a friendship, trust me on that deal.
Yes.
So now, my first relationship that I created,
Yes.
while I was in the room, I said, if I could get all these women on the same stage, I've just cashed in. That's all I could think of.
Yes.
So watch this. I've already won her friendship. Now watch what I say to her. By the way, I couldn't help but notice your powerful message. I wish to God my mother would have had the opportunity in her younger years to hear something like that. To know this power she had raising those 7 children. That she was not just my father's wife, but she was who she was. I wish that could have taken place. Thank you for that message, Erica. Now watch this. Are we good so far?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to stay with it, brother.
Yes.
Erica, I will be remiss. I didn't know you, so I got to be honest with you. I have a conference call coming up. It's a 10-week series.
That sounds very exciting.
And already, I'm going to have Ellie Drake there. I'm going to have Artemis, Susan Sly, and many other women for 10 weeks. But it would literally have a void if you weren't there. If you don't mind, it starts in February 1st and goes for 10 weeks. If I give you some dates, would you consider being one of the guest speakers?
Absolutely. Consider it done at this time.
And you have to understand, when this woman spoke, everybody was on their feet cheering like crazy. Right? So, did I go over to her and tell her how powerful my network marketing company was and try to recruit her?
No.
Did I try to convince her of everything I know, how smart I am?
No.
Did I gibber?
No.
I listened,
Yeah.
and I spoke, sending and receiving.
Yes.
I'd already sent a receipt from the marketplace, right? Did I dare not listen to the marketplace first?
Yes.
Yes.
And that drove me to my action.
Yes.
How much money have I spent yet?
Nothing.
Okay, oh no, yeah, I spent a little bit on books, but that wasn't related. That's a whole other thing. And watch this. I got a commitment out of Erica Combs first.
Yes.
All because I said, all these other ladies are going to be there, but it wouldn't be the same without you, John. Right? Huh?
Right, you built her up.
Yes.
Oh, it gets better than that.
Yeah.
Where's the office? You can stand up over there a second. I'm coming back to her table later in a little bit, but I'm going to tell you what happened. So now, stay with her, stay where you're at. I'm coming over to you. You're already interacting with folks. You're talking. Anyway, hey, Myron. Hey, dude. You're not going to believe this. I got a 10-week series coming up. I ain't even going to call it yet. I already have Erica Combs. She goes, you what? I said, yeah, I got Erica Combs. I'm going over now to get Ellie.
Get out.
That's exactly what he says. What? I said, don't worry, I'll tell you about it later. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, yourself?
Wonderful. My name is Dwayne Golden. You don't know me, but I will say that I know you. I actually heard your message. It was very powerful. I was just telling Erica how I wish my mother would have been here today to hear you all and your tremendous message. I know you've been through a lot. You have a lot to share. I have a 10-week. My name is Dwayne Golden. I told you earlier. I have a 10-week training coming up for women who are in business, and it wouldn't be the same if you weren't there. Erica, Susan Sly, Artemis Limber, those guys get it. But I have not asked you. Would you find it presumptuous if I gave you an invitation to speak any of the dates that are available?
Oh, definitely.
She said, she said the exact same thing. She said, would you get with Charlie, give him a date? I said, oh, inside, I'm doing that thing that you do. I'm inside with all kinds of stuff. I gotta keep my composure. She's a doctor. I don't know. She's conservative. Wonderful. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Now, your whole idea for this conference or series for women just came up when you heard them speak, right?
It came up when I was in my seat. I didn't sit in the room. I went in the hallway because I can't sit still when I hear something. When I hear something, I'm ready to go home and start the project.
Right.
Understand that. So I already started preparing the email messages mentally. I just started seeing it all come to flow.
Right.
Now, in this 10-week series, some great things will come out of it. You will now not just have your own database, but you will also have the database of Erica, Susan, Artemis, and the other women that are a part of it. It's just something I thought would be more powerful for each of you and also for my listening audience. How much money have I spent? Forget the books. The books was another investment. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So far, I'm using what? God's gift to me. I'm using my creativity that Shane talked about earlier. I'm not doing all the talking. I'm not God's gift to network marketing. I don't have 2 cases of air in the car. I want you to, and guess what? I've got something where you can benefit.
That's right. That's it.
I'm a nobody. I just want to make you more of somebody. So I stepped into the elevator. Me and Myron were getting ready to go to lunch. Myron knows Susan. So we're sitting there, we're talking, Myron and Susan talking. Hey, what are you guys doing for lunch? Oh, excuse me a second. By the way, this is my brother Dwayne. Oh, how are you? Good, good. I heard a lot about you, and Myron's told me about you. But I gotta be honest with you. I was blown away listening to you speak, that's for sure. Wow, I don't have sisters. I was ready to go get a couple of women in the room and make them my sister just to make them listen. And Susan likes to have a lot of fun too, by the way. She laughs at that kind of thing. She goes, well, I think we're all going to go to lunch a little bit later. I'd like to hear more about what you do. That's what she said. No, she said that to me. So watch this. I said, well, before we got to this elevator, I'll make it very clear to you. I'm an internet marketer. I've got a 10-week audio training coming up for women. It is a series that I want to have in a conference call. Erica's going to be there, Ellie, Artemis. I would love for you to be there. We don't have anybody from Canada there.
Oh, most definitely.
Bingo. Just give me the dates is what she said. Can it be any easier? Huh? Can it be any easier? That's all I can think of. So it's more beautiful than this. Well, we'll see you at lunch, and right, and she went back and forth, and we're cool. So now, that first day, I secured 4 of the speakers. So far, am I speaking?
Yeah.
Am I speaking more than 10 weeks?
Wow.
So I'm going to make a lot of money. You guys don't know how yet. I make a lot of money from their labor. They make money off of it. But the cool thing is, I make long-lasting money as a result. I've got people from their databases who still are my clients. So now, I'll let you guys know. You still have to say where you are. If you guys can have a seat. I'm going to show you, what did you do with the books, Dwayne? I don't get that part, right? Make sense?
Right, okay.
Do you know what I did with the books?
Yeah.
What?
So I've got these books. So I said, listen, I just thought about it. I know this conference is over on Saturday. On Monday night, I've got a conference call that I'm doing. I'm going to sell your books. I just want to ask you this question. If I sell out of them, could I drop ship them with you where you will send the rest? I'll pay you for shipping.
Absolutely.
So watch this now. Stay where you're at, baby.
Okay.
You can do there. Right now, this is a thinking lesson. It's just to teach you to think whatever, to never see what everybody else sees. You're going to be broke for a long time. Watch this now. Ready? I had a conference call where I sold an ebook. Everybody say ebook.
Ebook.
Good. The ebook, the first ebook I sold, I think it was $19.99. That's what it was valued at, right? This ebook was called, what was the weight loss? What's it called, Henry? Remember that one I used to sell?
Don't remember what it's called.
Obesity No Longer was the website. I forgot what it's called. It's called Obesity Terminator, right? OT.
Did you JV with someone to get the people to that call?
What's it called? This one?
Yeah.
Of course. Oh yeah, that's another part to it. Yes, yes, of course I did. I'll come to that. But let me just tell you about the call. I'm gonna tell you how I got rid of the books, and I'll backtrack into that because if I start there, everyone's gonna get caught up in the JV and miss that.
Yes.
So I sold that, $19.99. I sold a conference call that I called. Let me see, a conference call. This was $39.99. Yes. Conference call was $39.99, and it was called. It wasn't called Prospecting Off the Ladder. It was called. Sorry, I forgot what it was. It was something about.
Was it? No, wasn't it the A to Zoom, your first one?
No. That was done before this stuff. Whatever it was called, it was something about prospecting people who are of influence. I just don't know.
Oh, Off the Ladder?
No, it's different. That came later. This was a one-day conference call, but it was good. I sold them. This cost $39.99. This cost $19.99. Right? Another one. It's about body language. It was one of my ebooks on body language. Remember that one, Henry?
I don't know what the title was.
This was all in one.
Oh, this is what I made available at the end of the conference call.
Okay.
This is at the end of the conference call. When I do a conference call, by the way, I got something for you. Go to this website. Go to Golden something or other. You can see it. No, it was something else, but wherever they went, they saw this there. I just want to give you the clue of where these books tied in. I don't want you to miss this. This was some sweet stuff. So I sold another ebook. Just say another ebook at $19.99. Then I have Erica's book, right? Right? Erica's book I think it was retail for $17.99 or $95 or something. The final thing was, it was called Producers, Not Excusers. It was an event. So this was an event in Pennsylvania. And this was, like, I think it was $77. Watch what I want. Watch this now.
Oh,
All of them together. All right.
That's what I sold at $49.95. I don't ever do anything zeros. I never do zeros. Probably $49.97. But here's the beauty here. Her book sold. You guys don't even, see if you can tell me, what did her book cost them? What did the book cost them?
Nothing.
No, what did the book cost them? Now, if you don't know anything about
$7.
this thing here, this is an ebook, conference call, all that stuff, none of that stuff really exists. Those are not physical.
Right.
Custom shipping.
Those are electronic.
Cost of shipping.
Well, they paid for shipping, that's separate. They paid $7 shipping, that's not, they cost $49.97 plus shipping, so. Watch this. I was able to, this is how I sold her book. It's the only physical thing I had for $49.97.
That's what I said.
She sold it to me for $5.
yeah. Right.
I made out of that tangible item. These things were just thrown in for mine. I just rephrased the wording.
Yes.
In one night, sold it every one of those. We had to send her a spreadsheet of all the people that we needed her to drop ship the books to. Guess what it cost her to ship the books? $250. So I gave her $250 for everybody that bought it, and she shipped it directly to them. The rest of it. We sold a fortune of them. I became her best affiliate. So you know what happened the next month? She flew all the way across the country to Maryland to join me in an event to speak with me. She was so blown away by what happened.
Wow.
So were you. Wow.
Hey, well, I'd already, see, here's the thing, the development will do this. You'll get a certain amount of confidence when you develop yourself in a certain area. I already told you I spent a couple months going over and over a 27 CD series on how to do internet marketing. Back then, it's outdated now, but back then, it was on time. Yes?
Well, how could you sell something that doesn't exist?
You can sell it that doesn't exist. When I say it doesn't exist, it exists, but it's only electronics. It costs me
Not
zero.
physical.
You understand what I mean? An ebook is something that someone looks at on their computer when they print it out.
Okay.
But electron-wise, I mean, just think about visually.
Right.
It's not physically anything. Ebooks are not physically anything.
Okay.
They're called digital products, but if you understand, if
They're not something you can touch.
Right, it's a product that was made once.
You can print it out.
It doesn't cost
Sometimes
you
you
but
can.
if you print it out, it costs you something. It
Yeah,
don't cost me.
yeah,
You
it
can print it
costs
out
you,
when you want.
yeah.
So I'm not selling them error. I'm not selling them a lie. I'm selling them something that exists.
You're selling information.
I'm selling information
In the cheapest form.
in the cheapest
cheapest
form.
form, right.
So on paper, if I had to justify where the $49 went, the only place I could really justify it going,
It's a book.
thank you. Now,
That's a heck of a profit.
well, when you consider my conference call made me a lot of money, the one I sold them into. So that was really my own, they didn't really pay to get there, they were gonna come anyway. So here's the beauty. I'm sorry, I may have gone over your head, but I've taken sitting inside of a meeting room like you're in now, I insisted from that date to, whenever I attend one, to leave with money-making ideas. So here's the result. Yvette, when you came in this morning, you told me you love what? What do you love?
Real estate.
No, what you were listening to, what you have at home, you were listening to. What do you love?
Dynamic Divas.
A destiny.
You love
Yes,
that, right?
Yes.
That was made up from all those 10 weeks. That's the 10-week series I just recorded.
I realized that when I heard you talking about it.
Good. Now, get this. In the first year, it made more than $250,000. That's a result of that 10-week series. Get it? Those women, they come back and have to buy that series from me at a cost. They don't have to buy it at retail, but they have to buy it, and they can't buy one at a time. They got to buy it by the case, for starters.
Okay.
The people who buy this are all over the globe. I've had people buy this from Asia, from Iran, from different places. It doesn't matter. They sell around the globe, period. In the first year, it produced more than $250,000.
Wow.
All because of an idea. Now, did I have to go and rent a recording studio?
No.
Huh? And then hire the actors to come in and speak?
No.
This is what I mean by low overhead, high income. My brain doesn't register on the expensive long-term stuff. Everybody get it?
Yes.
That first month, we didn't make $2,500, did we? Some of you heard me tell how much we've made that month. We made $6,000 plus that month, and I knew for the second month we were going to rock and roll. The whole concept is this. You're all an idea away. But if you got to remove the stuff that they gave you from birth, the stuff they gave you not from birth, but from the time you started being educated, of what's possible. That kind of stuff's not thought of as possible. You have to make it so. If you ever watch Star Trek The Next Generation, make it so, number one. Right? Jean-Luc Picard, that's what he would say. I used to be a Trekkie back in the day.
Yeah.
No, I was a Trekkie.
Still a track. Okay.
Make it so, number one.
Still a track.
So, I believe without a doubt that some of the best ideas that have ever existed lie within the people who God's given them to. They just have not given them an opportunity because of disbelief, because of what they've been taught and trained that they were. Just see yourself as you really are. You can have a seat now. By the way, give it up for Yvette and Donna and So I take the conversations that I could have ruined by communicating wrong. Overwhelming someone with a lot of information makes them run. No one cares about what you know until they know how much you care. Stop trying to convince them of how much you know. I've done this. I've been with one for so long. I was actually working for Black & Decker for this many years, and I've actually been a salesman 3 years straight. No one cares. No one can give a hoot. Right? What really won those women over wasn't my height, because I'm a short guy. Right? It wasn't that I was just the coolest cat around. They already had their own cool cat. It was that I spoke about themselves. And Dan, no matter what anybody tells you, dude, the most important thing in a conversation is what that person hears about themselves. It may be that you can get on a room and fly around the room. Nobody's going to carry you. Right? So, if this went over your head, it was just to give you some energy about your own projects. Creativity. Don't sit in here and hear everything everybody else says. I put that up on the board on purpose. I'm trusting that from it, it will spark and generate new, fresh ideas of their own. Every year I've gone to any of those events, I've come back with mega ideas that have made a lot of money. And you're right, Ken. Ken, jeez, you better get some sleep, Dwayne. You're right, Jason, about the JV. In that room, I met a lot of people that day. One of them, Jared Wilkins, who later would do the conference call with me. I met Cedric Harris. I met a couple of people who agreed to allow me to send people to my conference call because I was going to be sending my people to their conference call. So I told you I had a big database of about 700 people. Most of them were from the corporate world. I didn't know this world yet. It opened up. This one 10-week series made me jump up to over 7,000 plus database. Those women had to, but by the way, I couldn't just talk, I had to do it too. I didn't know it, Jason. I had to go and create a website myself. And I had to create the email. I had to make sure these women I was going to get their databases and the others would get it too. So I created an email for them, inviting their listeners to come here. The name of the conference call was Successful Strategies for Women in Business. So I created the email and said, send this to your database. All of them. If you're going to JV with people, you got to make it easy for them. You don't JV with people and give them a lot of work. You got to make it easy for them. So I created the email and their own capture page. The capture page still exists. I think I may have shown it to you in the private session. So in the capture page, it has a picture of all of the different women that are going to be speaking. And it has an opt-in, but it has an audio. Each person's page you went to, you heard their audio. So if you went to Susan's capture page I created for her, I said you call in this number and you leave a voice message telling them why they should opt in and why they don't want to miss this conference call. So when you got there, hi, this is Erica Combs. I want to thank you so much for coming to this page. I want to tell you, starting on February 1st, we're going to knock this thing out of the park, blah, 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 blah. Get in there now. Plus, you're going to hear from great speakers such as Fran Harris. You're going to hear from this person. When you went to the capture pages, it wasn't about Dwayne Golden. they were more likely to send people there. So I created 10 different capture pages, one for each week of the session. When they opted in, they went to the page where they heard more about it, and the giveaways that would take place, and then they could click on a button and pay for it. Yeah, so we talked about money that was made from this, right? I think we did about, oh my gosh. I think we did about 3,800, so I'm guessing it was from this call. Watch this. Just because I attended an event and decided to think different. Now watch this. You know what this represents? Anybody know what that represents? No, that's the number, the cost to attend the conference call. We ended up with 219 people. What did that mean, ladies and gentlemen?
219.
219 people showed up on the conference call. And back then, the conference call, the webinars weren't around, but back then I had to get two numbers and join them together because you can only hold 100 on a call. I did, but the third one came that night. That's when it panicked. My man Bill Wayne hooked me up. He was my moderator for it. He was where you were back then, and he was the moderator for all 10 weeks, which gave him his database. That's where he got started. So listen now, folks. Some people think they have a $5,000 problem, and they don't. They have an executing of ideas problem. They've got a myth in their head about the cost of what it takes and the amount of time it takes. So, did anyone do the math yet?
Yeah, not
Okay.
16, a little over 16, almost 17,000.
I counted 15,400 plus the extra 19. So somewhere at 15, 16,000, maybe over 16. I didn't. Watch this now. And that took. We closed it down like February 8th, 7th, or 8th. Anybody that didn't pay for it, then was already full. Make sure the scarcity was there. So there was money. Watch this now. There was money made from the people that paid for it to go to the conference, right? 16,000 plus. Then we sold a lot of CDs through the Gold Membership Club, and all the websites were up for those, right? It created a truckload of CDs. We got new members of the Gold Membership Club, so that we had 2,000 members in that, paying $19 a month, $19.99 a month, within the first 60 days of this conference. So I was a nobody who ended up with what they call, you guys know they call them continuity sites, you know what I'm talking about? Where people are paying you monthly on it.
Right.
So $19.99 times 2,000 is almost 40,000 a month, right? So this one idea, it birthed so many others. If you have an idea and it doesn't impregnate more thoughts, more ideas, you don't really have an idea. You're one dimensional, you're back to traditional Western education.
And what did they get with the membership site?
They got 50 leads. They got every Dwayne Golden product or any products that I own the rights to. Back then I bought a lot of rights. As soon as I got money, I went out and bought rights and stuff. They got any of the stuff at a fraction. They got stuff at between 50 and 70% off with anything at all that I was marketing. They got a once-a-month conference call, and they got a once-a-month Q&A with any special guest that I brought to the line. And they already knew, because I already had 10 to start with, right? So now, money was made here, money was made from that conference here, and then money was made in selling the products. It also birthed the Gold Membership Club. From all of this started the MLM MBA, which made between 50 and 100,000 each weekend that we launched, that we had it. That's the power of the ideas that God gave you versus you trying to be like someone else. If you got it, say I got it.
Got it.
Wonderful. So we're going to turn this on. We're going to look at this. I want everybody to stand up and get some blood flow circulating. We didn't eat yet. I know you guys traveled all night, you had a lot of stuff going. But can you see why it's important to be multidimensional money-wise?
Yes.
You cannot just fester in, oh, I got one thing, it's going to be great. You can't ever lie there. You've got to see the many things that will come out of it.
That's part of it.
No, the market didn't lie. I didn't listen to what the market was really saying. I listened to my internal voice that said, oh, this is going to be crazy, this is going to be awesome. And so I would say I gotta be honest with you, I don't know that I've come up with more than, I'd say 2 out of every 10 ideas will never see the marketplace. See, you can usually tell when it's not gonna work. By the time, if it goes way over time, as far as days. And then every time you're about to make it work, it takes that much more money. I can sense it, I can smell it. It's gonna take too long to be in profit mode. So for me, the things that have really dropped, I mean, without going into too much detail, were because I tried to force it to work. I tried to force it to work because of what I saw. And I knew I'd be very good at doing it. And when it came time for the marketplace, they weren't listening. I had to start dumping a lot of money into it to get their attention. I started off on the wrong foot. So it was great. I saw it in my eyes. I saw it in my head what it should be. But in each case, I had to go out and try to convince the marketplace. I had to convince the marketplace why they should get it, and then I realized that's not working. So I started paying for this. I go out and pay for someone to advertise it for me. I started looking for every possible way. One of them was, something none of you guys never heard of before, Internet Marketing All-Stars. I didn't listen to The Voice or the marketplace. I JV'd with people who, in the internet, it's the hardest place to tell who's got what. When my instincts told me that they weren't really the right people, I ignored it. Because I thought, myself, this could really work. These guys who were baseball, they were college baseball guys who actually were accepted as pros but went to the internet instead. And they said, they was like, Dwayne, we want to work with you. It's the Internet Marketing All-Stars. And it was a huge flop. I'm like, dude, everything I look up, this is costing me a fortune. I'm flying these people around the country, I'm going to this place or that place for the event, and I realized there's no contract. I know better than this. This doesn't feel right. Okay, I'm just start dumping money into it to make it work. We started buying this. Then we got this professional company to do the Internet Marketing All-Stars website. You probably can find stuff out there if it still exists. But that thing smacked me in the face. It's horrible. I JV'd, and by the way, each of the flops I'm talking about, they all were JVs where if you don't know me yet, I'm a loving, caring person. So it's gonna be very easy for me to go a little further than I should because I may care more about you and about what this can mean in the long run that I make some stupid decisions. So in my case, those were my big ones. That was an example of one. I tried to force a round ball through a square hole. And after I said this, my instinct said, hey, that's squared away, and you know better than this. And after a while, you start justifying, well, if I flop it, so what? I just start doing something else. That is a bad thing to happen. When you know you have enough money to redo it again, if you mess up, you're more likely to risk more. And I did that. And it came back to bite me in two different ways. One of the people I JV'd with, they cheated me. They cheated me in a great way. Oh, I'm so sorry, Joy. I think I'm an officer in the room.
You just woke me up.
She's gonna arrest me. We were in Tampa, Florida, and had this event in the Internet Marketing All-Stars. I don't know, we probably did about 50K or so that weekend. In Tampa, no, that was not good for what we're doing. That's good for me as an individual to do. If I'm with a team of people, there's no reason that we should not make that. No. Anyway, make a long story short. So, I said, just to demonstrate trust. I've been doing this a while, you guys are new at it. You process the information, and you send me the money. You process it, I don't have a problem with that. So, the one gentleman, I'm not mentioning names in case any of you know him, you may know him. They processed everything and sent us all the money. But here's the interesting thing. They didn't send the money like by check or anything, they sent it via PayPal. And within 1 month, I get a call from PayPal saying that someone's using a stolen card, and they said that this money didn't belong to you. I go, yes, it does. I'll show you everything I sent to them. They said, well, show us the receipts for posting. I said, I took it with me. I had to take a lot of laptops down there. I do a lot of stuff. I got this guy doing by phone calls and went his own way. And just to this day, if he sees I'm anywhere near the vicinity, he disappears. Just so happens that many others in the industry were taking him to court. I didn't know he was a crook. I wouldn't seek that because I was so excited about two things. Now, take it from my standpoint. I got many people that couldn't hear what I had to say because of my color. I thought by having these two white dudes, I can't lose, right? I got balance. If it looks like I'm trying to reach a certain crowd, I'm gonna put your face on it, And that was a huge mistake. And so I got beat. I got beat badly to the point of it messing my credibility. PayPal shut my account down the first time. I had over $40,000 that they froze. I still can't touch.
To this day?
this day, oh yeah, to this day, PayPal does not play. They do not like direct markers, or, that's what I'm telling you guys, if you have PayPal, it'll work for a couple weeks, but I wouldn't stay too long. Oh, no joke. The second time I got checked out with PayPal was a similar reason. It was a JV of sorts, and it was even more money. It's back when I launched the Cycle March the first time, I think it was December of 08. And so for me, when I don't listen to what God's given me, the instinct and the voice, because I want to force it to a word, that's the most expensive time spent for me. Me personally, I love JV because I know how well it works. So, 5? Okay. Here's what happens. JVing's got to come from more than the good intentions. It's got to come from a place of, will these people carry out their part of it? If so, when the money starts, by the way, people change. Some of you guys are so sharp. Let me tell you something. As sharp as you are, money can change you. The real you will come out. Right now, it's okay. You know, $200 or $300 online, you know, you can hold your own for a while. When we're talking about 5 and 6 figures, it can literally change who you are. The wrong income, if you don't have the right character, you will wake up in the bed beside the wrong person the next morning. Because your money would have lied to you and tell you that you can almost do anything.
Yes.
Money will make you cheat people who you would have cried for a year ago. Money will make you cheat people who just need another chance if you're not careful. So I'm just telling you now, the reason I always insist on you having a foundation of character. Me personally, I like to build mine on the scriptures because I know that doesn't change. I insist you find a way to do that. Because if you wait until you start making the money, unfortunately, too much of the world's going to see who you really are, and your opportunity will be gone.
Don't you find that in communication with people?
Find out across the board. My whole point is this, that you have to do much is given, much is required.
Of course.
It happens to you now. Just so happens it's easier to resist it now. So much is more is at stake. When you have less, think about this. If you can make even $20,000 in a week, and you know you're going to make it again next week, you're more likely to gamble with your life. Because you know, I have $20,000 next week anyway, so I was glad to do this thing. You start rationalizing in a completely different way. So unless you have a character that's built on something that's solid, if it's built on something that's not changing, you're in trouble. I know you see this now because you were interacting with certain people in the industry right now who, the closer you get to the money, the more things change. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And is it painful? Is it just as painful? You wish, it's very painful.
Yeah.
And my point is this, you're going to attract more people that are not like that if you can be aware of it now. Henry, we're going to turn this on real quick. You okay, dude? You sure? That football, boy, I tell you what, all those touchdowns. Huh? Oh, iTunes is great. We should watch Lassie or something. Okay. How about the internet? Oh, I mean, I'm right here. I'm sorry, dude. Forgive me. Officer, it's all right, please. Put your gun away, please.
Dwayne, you have so many jokes.
I didn't start on you yet.
I know.
Okay, it's coming.
Oh.
You know what's funny? I mean, you'd have thought that Nikki was harp on Mark when she came in here, right? Yeah, no, she's gonna protect her buddy. She's gonna say, you have got so many jokes, would you leave my girlfriend alone? We heard nothing about you out of you all day. Protect her buddy. No. Someone get up there.
Where's the big chair? You had a big chair the last time.
Huh?
The big chair.
I'm a small man.
No, the big tall chair that you had the
I know what you're talking about. It was like a bar stool. It was like,
Your laptop.
Your laptop is in the way.
All kids, they kick.
Do the slow-mo, the one you turn on. You gotta do it, Yeah, you gotta do it.
no, I do it that way.
Come on.
But we'll tell you this.
You got an accent.
I get my, it's like this. So, watch this. Events in the house, baby. I had anybody I knew, I sent them all there and gave them a reason to be there. The one thing I had in common was I was going to promote everything about that company or that individual. I had some non-corporate places in there. So what you're looking at now is the skeleton of what's left after I turn it over.
Okay.
You have to understand, when you have this, I got this thing where I like to, I just have to be involved with it.